should have been a good one. Alright, so I know I look like crap, but just so you know, Evil Force is the one who set me up in here in the alternate dimension to not own my company or S Corporation or whatever you want to call it, dating program, whatever this is. That was not stolen from the FBI at all. I'll explain that part later. Anyways, the person who stole it from me, his brain stems are so evil and controlling and manipulative that they will set people up and all kinds of stuff. And I was literally in an argument with him one day, and I can't see this guy, but I can feel how evil he is, right? And he's like, that right there behind my chair, which is the same thing that you have to deal with as a judge, with evil behind you within your origin, or making you feel like you're being forced to sign paperwork that you shouldn't sign necessarily when it doesn't quite make sense. Like when a mom says, I never hurt my kids, or I've never hurt another human being, or please let me file a police report because they're trying to make me look like something I'm not, because I didn't live there for the last 2 years, and that was a whole setup in progress on Anthony C. as we kept breaking in. But anyway, with that being said, he literally looked me right dead in the eye, and he knew I was serious and that I was not afraid of him at all. And I was like, oh yeah, kill me then, evil demon boy, devil boy voice calling. And he literally stopped for a second, and he went and got my daughter, and he put her next to me, and then he shot me from the alternate dimension across the way right in my face, which killed her and like 13 other people in here. In cold blood, did not care whatsoever. And he may or may not have made a side bet that I wouldn't die in real life. But the thing is when you do stuff like that, you can actually die in here and lose your life, and your spirit pops out. And it's just sad because once you die and your spirit pops out, you're pretty much screwed. So anyways, it was cold blood and it was sad. The main thing I'm trying to say right now is that they told me in my brainstems that somebody went to court on my name, and I'm not sure because I'm not over there and I can't get it for sure. But it may or may not be CPS related, I guess, or something different from something that happened in here as a setup in progress. And I know that they told me literally they had went back in time for some people and made it look like they beat their kids or whatever, and they even wore bodies of the children. And when you're in here and you're a UE member of my caliber, you know how to solve these crimes because you can put the right helmet on and you can see that in the video you're watching, or look on the other side, that there's multiple people in there as a setup in progress. Meaning that kid had multiple people in there like Anunnakis with brainstem codes erased, so it wasn't actually what it wasn't, or it was like a play put on by a bunch of adults driving a train through a computer system. And I've literally seen with heat eye stem codes, okay, I've literally seen demons in here behind me and behind you, Judge, in real life. Like the first one I sent you a mental picture of, forcing you to sign documents that you didn't want to sign, or just being too scared not to do something different, like change the subject. And we are the people in here who have done some drastic things, like showing people axe murders out loud, with them doing it, which traumatizing as hell. But that's what happens when you have an Anunnaki helmet on, which is not an Anunnaki helmet on. Yes, that one is an Anunnaki helmet. The Anunnaki helmet is a setup in progress one. It's where they put a body on the outside and they commit a crime, and the people in the Anunnaki can see the crime being committed and the face of the person doing it. And if they have the same power source, they feel like it happened to them. So if the person gets stabbed, they get stabbed. If the person gets dissed really hard, like you're the ugliest, stupid fucking cunt I've ever seen, then you see their feelings and you feel it too, like it happened to you, or like you're the one who said it, or whatever. And it's just annoying. But the other one, which is a CPS helmet, which is the one that I downloaded for my UE up here to protect my daughter up here, which wasn't technically my daughter, it was my player's daughter. But anyways, it allows you to read the thoughts of your assailant, meaning your perpetrator or whatever on the ground, or your child or whoever you're protecting. And they use that illegally up here for illegal sex communication, which I can't even explain how that goes. So that anyways, in one section where they weren't setting us up, you could see multiple people in there, right? Okay. And then in the other section, for the other stuff, the relationship is that If you have sex with someone who's on CPS record, as the mom who is a CPS worker, you're supposed to take your helmet off or log out of the system because you have children or assailants that are attached to you that can either see or feel what you're going through. It's called being a UE member. So if you have sex, other people on the other side will feel like it happened to them or look like it happened to them, to other people especially. And that's why I don't have sex anymore, because I'm connected indefinitely to this computer up here as the first UE member from the ground that was backwards scanned in. And it does make $1 million trillion with how it is. And we have copyright and patented all this stuff in the sky. But the evil guy who started this program in the beginning, who may or may not have been DEA at first, got killed on the streets of Portland for sticking up for me. I don't know if I said that already. Because someone else tried to call me somebody should be in pink jumpsuits or something. And it wasn't a police officer, but it was just some evil dude. Anyway, he's the one that had the connection to the law enforcement, and we were supposed to be able to work together because I was told I was working with the CIA, and a bunch of other people in the sky for cybersecurity, FBI work and stuff, while that guy was doing his community service or whatever and stuff. So anyways, yeah, the whole point is that other people can see or feel what you've done, or they feel like they did it themselves. And their brain stems are connected to other people's in here, and they can make one mistake by not knowing who's underneath there, or that it's a scapegoat. Like today and yesterday, they removed my power source, and the evil man that was against me this whole time, trying to go up against me for ownership of this situation, he was the one that was on my brainstem in here. And I can't see you guys, by the way. I've never benefited from any optical illusion or anything that you guys have in here yet. So anyways, he was the one that was on my brainstems. He was the one that was fighting against me, facing the other direction, so he could hear all my thoughts and read my mind and know what my plans of attack were with me and my people in here trying to stick up for me or whatever. And he would always tidewater me with a black label because somebody else in here did something wrong over there, setting other people up, which is not the truth at all. It always looks like me today on my power source and everything else that they may or may not have been watching on videos down here. It's like a reflection of me, because I'm sitting here and I can't see you, but you're all playing off of my power source lines and my iStem codes and my brain stems and everything. And it gets confusing, but anyways, just because you see me sitting here looking like this, where they are forcing me to stay with no car and no money and letting this playboy guy from 2 years ago that I left in Oregon, I don't even want to get into it right now. So she's trying to explain it to the judge about the court cases and how I was set up. Okay, so basically, you told us in your mind that whatever documents you were looking at when I called to file a police report, right, about somebody stealing my identity, because that's what I was told in the sky. I'm talking about my identity of ownership for this situation in here called the Echelon. All right. And I'm living in Vancouver, Washington, and I've been living in Vancouver, Washington, but yet my CIA in the sky with the FBI underneath them and my whatever else we're not saying, they have all been working off my power sources for 2 years. The first one did not know about the second one, and then it had just started in February of last year. So they said by this February, it'll be 1 year. So they're quitting early because of the back of the hand they did through my face and because of Emerald Green Freedom. Paid for a lot of situations for them to do it early, but they did it wrong. Anyway, it's just retarded because they did make a lot of money off that, and they did not help her out at all. Well, they had set me up in the past, and it wasn't just law enforcement, it's evil people too, and it's all about online bidding and all this stuff, and someone saying, watch your back, bitch, over here. Me? Yeah, for what? They're saying you did something that told on somebody GJ-ish over there. In a different way, I guess. It said something different. I'm not the one who did that, all right? Whatever it is getting fixed. It's whatever you think, it's not what it is, okay? People were filing it in a wrong way, and it wasn't looking right on the other side because Evil first came in here and tried to say that I was a bad person for sticking up for a GJ. I mean, a gypsy joker who may or may not have stuck up for me in the streets of Portland for the same situation where they tried to call me something different like a slut bunny online or a sex slave or something disgusting that did needles on purpose where people could watch me and sit with me and be high, which I never did or agreed to that. Anyway, that guy is the one that saved my life on the streets of Portland. Okay, and he may or may not have been a capitalist in the 187 department, I'm not sure. But anyway, so with that being said, that's why I stuck up for him, because he saved a mom's life in real life. And that was the first case that he came down the pipeline saying that I needed to turn myself in here for when I knew nothing about it. I've never been in trouble. They should have never been looking through my eyes, let alone setting me up to be a setup in progress for this long on the ground and taking advantage of the fact that the person I was connected to, where I was helping develop the software to get out of my face, right? And stop minding my business, where I got permission to further develop it in the echelon and everywhere else, and it's all in here. Anyway, I can't even get into it. I have ownership properties in the sky. I pay all over the business codes. They went against me over there, not understanding that we knew how to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that I'm innocent and I've never hurt another human being, and that they have been filing these charges illegally from Washington State for 2 years, setting me up so that they can get away with it and get their big payoff at the bottom, when the program that they're using may or may not have just been a simple DEA program where you're just supposed to listen to people and what they do or don't do, and maybe a judge might sit in somebody's face or something. As a paid informant, which I think is dirty. But anyway, and that's it. Well, our program was a different one, similar to that one, that they pirated from Germany, and I got permission from Germany to further develop it to not be a pirated software situation over in Oregon or anywhere else. Yeah, I already got permissions in every other state. Anyway, to further develop it for medical advancements, technological advancements, and crime prevention in the future, because they can go back in time on certain timelines if they have my ISTEM codes or whatever, and make it look like it's somebody else that it's not, and watch people have sex and sell illegal porn online. And in here, I got this permission and this whole situation where you can wear bodies in here and be beautiful and set out timelines and all this stuff. Everybody in here thinks that they're so tight or whatever with their bodies on and their abilities to timeline jump and stuff. But yet on the other side, they're doing illegal porn in here, sitting with people on the ground, doing a Showtime moment. And Anthony C, as this guy, knows exactly what I'm talking about. Phone number insert there. It's the same one that came down 2.5 years ago and threatened my life through my head and said, I'm going to hurt your kid in jail if you don't give me permission to watch you and AK together in real life. And I didn't know if it was because of sex or if it was because of something different, because he was a narc or whatever. And I wrote down on a piece of paper that it's okay for you to watch us if we both agree on the ground where we're not at. And then I had a conversation with him live on my bed. And I asked him if he ever gave anybody permission to watch me, listen to me, record me, or write me down. And he was like, no, but he got tears in his eyes because he felt he was forced to do something too, like let them watch us or something, or some stupid shower thing that happened. Anyways, it ended up in a diss situation. And because after I'd taken a shower with somebody like that, he left, and I heard him say to my person outside, I can never do this again. And then the girl that was in there said, whatever you do, deny, 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 grade 4 truck calling. But it wasn't on the ground that I heard it from. It was from the Echelon universe. So it's all going through the Game of Thrones and the Kill or Be Killed, which is the game that I tried to stomp out all over again. And I'm not even joking, man. I have so many people behind me in the sky. It's just that my guy, well, that was my connection with the law enforcement, got killed. Okay, and this was 2 years ago. And they ruined my life. I crossed the bridge to get away from it, right? Because my manager told me that, get across the bridge as soon as possible. This is gonna get bad. After my guy got killed, and I've been trying to get reconnected in my brain stems to the right person over there, or whoever it wasn't, because it's so CIA. And I know my ID scanned CIA 2 summers ago, and I've been working with the Secret Service over here in Washington to have my back financially and stuff, but it has to go through the legal channels on the ground to make sure that you guys know that they're coming at you really, really hard for some of this stuff. even if it's just in the echelon. Because the people that you're supporting over there have taken the lifelines away from 20,000 people, sucking up their life force electronically and killing them faster because they do not know how to fix it, because it wasn't their permission granted to use the machine over there the way that they're using it from Japan, the right way to replace the life force. So you're literally pulling the life force from people on the ground, random ass people that aren't even on a chain. By the way, I'm on an illegal chain, and it is in fact making thousands and millions of dollars all over again for a lot of different things in the sky. And yes, I can see some crazy stuff. There's just so much to say. They're being intimidated by the law enforcement over there because somebody looks like they're smoking weed out loud. And that's the other thing too, like people that were on this Game of Thrones where they were being watched illegally, it now comes up on a chain in here and makes other people look like they're doing drugs or whatever. But listen, I have had my privacy invaded for 2 years straight with like 30, 40, 50 different people looking out of my eyes because I saw the stars. And that's part of the ownership program because I crossed the bridge with my UE helmet on. It's a CPS helmet to protect the kids up here because whoever I was friends with over there had hit his girlfriend and their kid was in danger, right? And they were in here on our chain or something like that. Anyway, that helmet mixed with the God's Table helmet, which wasn't really that, it's just basically a place marker or a horning beacon, power source or whatever, which literally was just a marker before where they could find you in the computer system and come down and sit in your face or whatever. And it turned into a whole bunch of other stuff, like erasing brain stems and moving stuff I can't even talk about. It's so copywritten in the sky because Buddy died, my friend Ashley's son died, and a bunch of other people died because people panic all of a sudden because of the way I'm backwards scanned in or whatever. And it's not just me, it's other people because they kept copying it for sex and shit. Die when a cop panics because he gets caught in the act of setting Tiffany up. And he basically pushes kill player or whatever, and it's an electronic shock type of thing in here. And it literally went back and forth. And it killed like 3 other people. I think we already talked about that. Now, I had told them to put cows in between the people, but use my ISIM codes to pull the cows in so that they're actually like fake socials, right? So they're not killing the firstborn. Because we're supposed to be the angel that God sends to destroy them. 666 people. Because evil demons are in here and you can see them with heat ISTEM codes. And I'm not even joking. Go look at an area where people do heroin or something. They're everywhere. And they are the ones that say, go to me in my past dream book. And if you're in my brain stems, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it was so loud and I was trying to figure out what they were doing because I felt like I was reaching in there trying to save somebody. And Al and I was watching. And then I found out later it might have been evil FBI because they thought I was minding their business or something different, or maybe it was the FBI trying to fix whatever they were doing wrong with the porn stuff. I'm not sure, but anyways, whatever that is, that's a big thing. My program literally makes this whole situation, let's just say we've done espionage for other countries, protections, okay, to work with our countries, meaning we can pay off all of our debts with whoever we don't have them with and basically be the most loved country in the planet if we can get this stuff to go to the ground the right way. And that's not even talking about the criminal prevention part of it that doesn't invade our brain stems and look through our eyes illegally to set people up and then reward them on the other side with home invasion information or how to steal a car or how to steal someone's identity. Because that's what this fucking game was doing over there in Portland, Oregon. Not only was it watching girls have sex, but up here, these different girls would put bodies on and sit within these people and wait for them to do their thing, and then they would record it like a showtime, and other people would sit with them and get off, and they'd hear their thoughts, and they'd know what they wanted or whatever, and sell it on the internet and charge money for it. And not just that, but it was a bunch of other stuff. And when you actually win the syndicate or whatever at the end, then you don't get exposed for the illegal shit that you did in here or the legal information that you have that you can now hold on to and sell to other information, insider trading or whatever, and a bunch of other stuff. And there's a big online betting that we're not really going to keep mentioning, but I was literally one of those people that they were doing that on. It's called high stakes bets. And a lot of it had to do with keeping me in one place so that they could keep doing their stuff illegally, knowing that my go-to guy got killed and he was a game controller. And I do know another one, I just don't know how to get a hold of him. But whatever it is, it's the most saddest thing ever when you think about somebody trying to set up a mom who knows for a fact that she didn't do that, go as far as to go into, with nanonites, into the Google Tiffany1434578 at gmail.com. If you do your research in here, you can see that this person or somebody went all the way back to Google to erase my communication so that I can't see any of my pictures from being pregnant and all my beautiful pictures of being a mom and all my good stuff with all of my good friends in Vancouver and everything. They try to literally erase my identity of ever being a mother or ever being a good person so that they can make me look like a horrible person as a hostile takeover of whatever we're not saying. And I didn't never agree to change my identity because I didn't hurt anybody. And it's just even sadder when you think about TANF or something. It's just even sadder when you think about the fact that I literally left my whole life behind over there in Oregon 2 years ago to get clean and sober, off the needles, away from these voices, thinking that I would be able to go back and get my stuff one day because it was in the middle of a change from the old owner to the new owner or whatever. And the Yui in my mind was always telling me, don't you worry, we're going to get you. You just wait a little bit longer or whatever, right? But it was a mixture of Yui members and then syndicates that were on parole. They got mixed in when the person died on accident. And what I didn't realize is that I rolled into somebody's chain permanently because I went back over there and got my optical illusions from them, which is the UE and the CIA, sort of, and got my syndicacy. But I can't even explain how hard it is, but it is backwards scanned in right now. And we can prove it to you in the sky because we're UE. But we're not law enforcement, technically. So it is that whole separation thing. They can't give me their information necessarily, so I do have certain judges' names. And I don't even know necessarily if it was you that saw the court case, lady. But this is Tiffany, and I do look like crap. And you are the one that said you looked at the file or you read the video or whatever it was, and then you came in here and you looked at the video and it looked like it was me for sure. And I don't know if they're talking about the apartment thing, but the apartment thing was a setup too, because whatever that was happened 3.5 years ago, and all I was trying to do was unlock my door to my front bedroom apartment. And the guy who was watching me or asking me for help was literally an informant cop guy named Anthony Ciaz. Did I say that already? Yeah. Anyways, I already said all that. So they wear bodies to set you up in real life. It's really, really hard to ever see in a video more than one body at all if it was not a setup in progress in here. Because you have to be in the body so far that we can tell to go back in time and record anything that anyone else has done in real life the first time around. So, or whenever it isn't. So you can go back and look at stuff when you go down people's timelines if they're hooked up. Mine was easy because I've been hooked up the awesome way for a long time, but it is killing me. So anyways, point is that you might see one other person in the body, but if you do see one other person in the body, then it was done in here. I think. Not on the ground is what I'm saying. Because, like, I never stole a car. So if you would have watched that video that just passed by of somebody stealing a car that was caught on somebody's security camera in here, looking like Tiffany stole her car in here, but the car was still literally sitting there in the girl's parking lot, right? Not stolen. But the person on the ground got the video looking like Tiffany stole the car while somebody else stole the car. I can't even tell you how messed up it is. So it's like this rewards program and population control for the worst criminals ever, but it's not at the same time. So anyways, the sooner we get a hold of this program or whatever this is, it's called UE, right? And Tiffany changed the name from Upper Echelon over there in Portland, where Anthony Ciaz said, any friend of mine would go share the same enemies. And she silently said, bow down in the presence of a boss player. Because that started a movement of a whole nother thing of Tiffany leaving so many gin bottles of tea with KC on it. And looking forward to her Scotch movement with cigars in the future, legally. Because we got your back, boo, we all said. From Bamboo Day to Arizona picture frame to penmanship papers to bow that's not a staff to my friends over here in the UE, and up here to the angel people who will in fact be the white angel they come to destroy them if it's not already us in the real lifetime. Because this program can inhabitate your brain and rotate your mind into another player and turn you into a different person in here. And it can be exactly what it isn't. The mark of the beast that takes over your existence, ruins your life, burns your name when you are a perfectly good, innocent human being who has never hurt another person on the planet, and they literally make you sit here expecting something good to come, promising you everything, and you keep waiting, but you can't even tell how fast the days are passing because it's been 2 years now. And then at the very end of this, 6 months ago or something, which was this huge win for me with the backhand and all that, right? They killed my player in here, but what they didn't realize is that I'm a UE member, backwards scanned in through CPS and everything else. So, although you gave me the Chinese cocktail and my liver and everything is starting to fail now, and I'm going to die in about a year probably, if not sooner, I'm still alive and connected in here like this. And if I was to come in their virtual reality, I would literally stomp these motherfuckers out all over the planet for all of us. Because it is a male situation in here, and they do get really feisty, and they do know how to switch brain stems and switch it up on both sides. So they will be fighting you on one side and sticking up for you on the other side. But when it comes to the head over here, they know how to point out the judges and who to force it to, and if it can or can't go to the ground or not. I'm just hoping to get a hold of some new bodies in here so that they can accidentally be pulled up when I send this email or whatever it isn't, so that you can reach your body on the ground really quick with the virtual reality ladies from Seattle, hopefully in a little bit. I am Soraya's mom, and I did all of this for my daughter to make up for lost time, thinking that I was going to be able to get my settlement statement or whatever for the first 2 years being in Oregon, where they ruined my existence, and I don't know, man, they just threatened my life, and just anyways, started a new life to be a good mom. They stole my car, they stole my existence, and left me here with nothing, and killed my friend that was helping me with the programming and everything else, and then basically alienated me from all of my friends on Facebook and everywhere else where nobody talks to me anymore, or I can't find their phone number, or they keep taking my phone ship program. They steal the internet report card. I have filed this with Interpol. I have filed this with the CIA. I have filed this with a Secret Service. I have filed this with Homeland Security. I have filed this with the FBI on both sides of the fence. And I have went through several different states already, pinging, but especially California because they're one, and then Chicago and New York and Texas and Florida, saying that we own it up here already. The idea of whatever this is, it's $1 trillion industry making tons of money, but it is killing me in real life. And the sooner I get some money to survive, or at least a car to get away from this spot where I'm at, which is stuck over here at my mom's, it's $1 million settlement statement or more just for the hours put in and what they've been through. And she's dying, and she's a mom. She's never been in trouble or nothing. Her daughter lives full time at her dad's, but she's got 4 other kids, and it's just so depressing because she's been sitting here every day like, okay, so you're going to come put some money in my green dot or whatever we're not saying? And the UA's like, yeah, we'd love to, but they can't do it from where they're at because they're on the other side. Because of whatever that setup in progress was, they had to wait till it went through. And we're sitting here on this side where they're painting a picture over here and not doing something over there because I'm in Washington State and my rights came from Arizona and everywhere else. But what they didn't know is that I had proof of everything. It's just that they were really, really good at erasing DreamBooks when they erased my Google and everything else. And now I have tons and tons of people where you can go down these lifelines and they can tell you exactly what happened, from Bamboo Moment to Red Devil Boy Voice to Sarah Falls in My Lap over here to Flying Babies Flying Mama Bear's Lap and all these 21 Kids Love Tiffany to getting punched the fuck out over there in Fight Club and my daughter popping out of someone's belly on this side and all of this stuff. And it does get really, really morbidly messed up when you start thinking about the pony nose guy that rides around on a trike up there in Eveland and Nakiland torturing people with Boeing airplane throws and axe murders being a capital punishment crime in here where you can literally get 10 years in prison on the ground for it if you show it on the internet, let alone showing somebody's private parts or a pussy juice video illegally to embarrass them or humiliate them or alienate them. which they've been doing that to me too. And they said they had a video of my son doing axe murders. And I basically had to take charges for him in here in my brain stems. And I have talked to judges through my walls. And I know you don't believe me, lady, but I talked to somebody on the power post in Florida, and she remembers my black and white shirt, and it was from Portland, I think. And it was about them telling me that they set up my son to have hurt my daughter to hurt me because they couldn't get to me because somebody had my body on or whatever. And he never hurt my daughter, and nobody ever hurt my daughter, and nobody hurt my son, and everybody's happy and everything's fine. But I'm stuck here being controlled by these evil fucking power-hungry piece of shit men who would rather sit there and sit with all these extra wives and all these different things in here and do drugs on the sly, because it's an addiction in here. Do drugs on the sly and get off in here virtually, illegally, or watch them in their sidewinders while they're having sex with their own wives or whatever we're not saying. Anyway, it's just traumatizing. It's traumatizing. It's traumatizing. I'm SWAT over here, and I can't even believe it because I was the one pressing charges on Tiffany because I thought she was trying to make me look bad, but that's not what she was doing. She was trying to show me what happens when you've been set up and you believe what you see. And then when you all of a sudden look at the video and you see you were the one who did it, and you're like, what in the hell? I would never do that. That was a setup in progress. Well, that's how they've been setting up Tiffany lately, because she is the reflection of us in here. Because when you look at the camera or whatever, you see Tiffany doing it in a picture-in-picture frame or whatever else it isn't. Or when you're in here using your ISIM codes, you look at the bottom and you see her face. And it's just traumatizing. So they switched it up for me. And I never want to go back over there to Evil Anunnaki land because that was some scary shit. And that's some scary shit. So I've never seen spiders that big in my life. I hope those aren't robotic. Please go somewhere different, Evil. My name is Reynolds. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to prison because I set Tiffany up online, and I'm not even sure if that's my actual real name, Richards, or whoever it isn't. And I got kids too, and I can't even tell you how many times I've heard their thought processes of, let me show you what it feels like, motherfucker, to set up an innocent human being for a power-hungry situation where you literally pay people to cheat on each other in here, to set them up to get money on the other side for losing a bet about them having STDs or whatever it is or isn't, and then rewarding these criminals with not getting caught for doing things like breaking into the office of their best friend so they can steal the checks from the office and get paid cash for it and not get caught. Well, the best friend Tiffany is sitting in that little ball in the corner saying, I fucking hate you. I hate this motherfucker. And letting other dudes get away with punching her in the face because she's sticking up for people at that apartment that was a flop house after she moved 2 years ago when she went back to get her stuff because they were doing needles in there, and she knew that the girl that had been staying there doesn't want needles or whatever, and they're just fucking crazy with big buckets of bullets on it and everything else. So that's kind of a lot of cussing, sort of. I hope you understand what I'm saying. This is a patented option. I came to the table with 5 things, okay? I have my iStem codes, I have my brainstem codes, I have my availability to use my own power source as a magic sideways figure 8 situation. I have my permission slip from Germany and or the person who made this software that we were pirating originally for sex games over there, they're saying, and setups in progress on other people to be plausible deniability for criminal mafia and to be population control on the other side, to stop hurting women who are UE members because it hurts their kids on the other side and may or may not be a forced submit transmission so that they don't tell on the evil cops who are watching them, listening to them, recording them, or writing them down, or using their friends illegally for their information to get points and everything else. So Commander Jenkins was not responsible for anything, and neither was this guy. In here, Tiffany doesn't actually have a player. She's got a whole lot of syndicates that work for her. Most of them are Christian Mafia, and some of them are the secret 7 service angels who you're not supposed to see as a man because they don't have clothes on. It's hard to explain, but they don't have clothes on, and they are kind of like FBI, but they are literally a life force in here, and they are the ones where Tiffany got the life force from that is blue, and it heals your eyes like lotion, and it heals your body skins, and your mental capabilities to stay alive, emotionally, mentally, and physically, to be an optical illusion is not what we're not saying. They also have the availability to have their brain stems hurt in here. But those angels don't keep their memories. They help people heal, they clean house, and they disappear. And so we were all thinking up there, because we don't go up there, we were all thinking that there was a couple women up there at the top or whatever, keeping an eye on everything, but there's not. It's really just the forefathers up there. On the other side, they do get really evil up there. And Tiffany is from Mason descent, Freemasons, in the secret society, where she was adopted by the other people, because those ones called her a dumb white spick bitch, because they're racist, sorta, and because they were jealous that their son couldn't bring to the table what I brought to the table. Not just honesty, no jealousy, no greed, but virtual reality. Porn is illegal. And yes, I do have my virtues, meaning I do not have sex anymore. And I guess that's it. So we said all 5 things I brought to the table, permission slip, and then ion drips. Ion drips. I can't tell you how important it is that I drink Kangen water every time I take even a vape pen hit, because it can kill these electronic players in here. So can cigarettes and everything else. And yes, believe it or not, some people in here smoke crank to put it in the machine to counteract people that smoke dope, like Blue's Clues or heroin over there. When it goes up in the air, if your syndicate is above them, your kids can die and you can die very easily. So they put it into the air in here and stuff to stay alive. And I know that's just a random thought process. But the thing about my stems, which is really trippy, is that in person, I can see people in you. I saw the judge inside of Mandy, I forgot her last name, that lived off Gleason and moved to Vancouver. I saw the judge, or the DEA guy, inside of Amy's patrol cop ex-husband on Cora Street, trying to set up Tiffany, who she then caught him in the act. And she's like, I'm not doing a transaction outside. You got me messed up. So she goes inside, and then she makes Anthony Ciaz do it. And it's funny because the guy that was inside, the one trying to set up Tiffany, was really trying to set up Anthony Ciaz. But when he looked at Anthony Ciaz, he didn't see Anthony Ciaz. He saw this guy, who may or may not be the head DEA in the beginning of the end. Because this guy is not a crooked cop. The other one is. So good job. I'm not going to say her name. Different situation. Aluminum foil, sorta, because he turned himself in with his wife supporting him on this side. We're just hoping this goes to the ground, because there was a few other people that were set up illegally. And if we can prove this to you guys, then we can prove this for these boys. And this is called the Savior Program over here in Oregon now, with us ladies involved under the Criminal Mafia Syndicate. It's called 7 Nina Moon Syndicate. The social is supposed to be 777777777, saving these people whose social securities got mixed up with killers and different things like that we can't even talk about. And they were supposed to have their identity changed and a bunch of different stuff, because they went against the grain, against the evil police officers over there, because they were sticking up for Tiffany, knowing her in real life and knowing she didn't hurt her kids, or knowing she didn't do whatever they were saying over there, grand larceny or whatever. By the way, they have embezzled money before through my ISIM codes. Literally, I'm standing there not knowing, and they're looking through my eyes and embezzling money where there's almost no proof in here of who did it. It's really messed up. But we already paid everything back, and it's trillions of dollars in the sky, sorta. It's an amazing program. It's going to make you feel better. They're thinking about law enforcement. We're thinking about syndicacy up here, where if you are connected the right way, you can literally get enzymes put in your body. You will feel younger. Your skin will feel softer. It's like a fountain of youth in a way. And it can help you not feel pain and all kinds of stuff. So I'm only as good as the body within me, but I'm not scanned in like everyone else. I'm scanned in a way that makes a lot of money in here, but kills you extremely, extremely fast. And like I said, I have about 1 year of life left if I'm lucky, unless I can get my settlement statement, which is literally like $1 million to start this whole program, where I have to do this certain thing where I commit suicide with the blue pills at the same time and get recommitted at the same time, and you rescan me by myself with not 3 bodies on. But I have to ping it off of 3 other Apple computers, and it's very complicated, and I can't do it by myself. So I need a law enforcement agency of some sort to help me. So my phone number is 360-360-6 815. And my mom's phone number is still 360-947-0698. And everybody you may or may not see in this video up here, these are all UE members that all drop in my body, one after the other, one after the other. They all have different personalities, and most of them go somewhere. They pick up the information while they're with me, and they forget by the time they get to the next person on the information they just picked up, because that's how the rotation wheel is in here, because this side is the tattletale side. They don't want carrying judgments or opinions to anybody else. But for Tiffany, it sucks because it's just somebody new and nobody that's directly related to Tiffany that knows her in real life, except for big voices in the sky that know the name Anthony Ciaz, and a guy named London, and a girl named Lourdes, and a girl named Kathy, Katie, Celeste, that I think lost her job a long time ago for the same thing they set me up for. Because she was tricked into believing that one of these boys that had a body on was somebody different that went against the grain, and she shouldn't have been with them with a kid or children, like 3 of them. But anyways, Tiffany has never been in here. She cannot see us. She has never benefited from any of this yet at all, and it's killing her in real life. And she's literally the anomaly, the only person that we ever found on the ground that has never hurt another human being on the planet, and everybody that knows her in real life loves her, even though they just played her off over there in Portland because they're being controlled by the same evil people that she used to be controlled by before she crossed the bridge. So, anyways, please stand up and salute your friends who do stand up for you, and I hope we can all eat dinner later together, because I have no money on my green dot. I have no money in my life. I can't get a job because you guys are in my head not letting me think, because I'm always worried about you coming down the pipeline saying I'm going to prison for one of these murders or whatever else you show me in my head that looks like I did something that I didn't do as blackmail, all because I would not sleep with any of those ninjas over there out loud in Oregon and called you out loud on live national television. Evil Force and evil Anunnaki, you need to go to hell. You're lucky Tiffany forgave you and even put you on her syndicate list as a possibility. We love the ladies being in here as UE members within these syndicates or within these OGINs, because they can get really evil really fast. And when they do connect into a computer system and they start to think that they're going to be in trouble, they can literally brainwash you with evil Anunnakis and evil Lucindas and evil Celindas. Tessie was her last name, Amanda. And she is a good person to ask questions to, but not one to stand up for Tiffany, because she came over here from Portland too. But she played the game, but she played it against Tiffany. Now, she's one of the people that Tiffany's sad about because she was her best friend over there. And now when she talks to her, she just acts like she annoys her. And she's the one that called Tiffany and said, "Why did you call me and say that a gang was after you?" And I'm like, "I didn't say that." And she started treating her weird after that. Well, it wasn't Tiffany who called her. It was somebody in here that was Tiffany's player when the timelines were lined up just right, where they were able to call from the alternate dimension to her to set her up for failure with some gangbanger bullshit. So anyways, it's just sad because you can see people's personalities change with different people in them. And right now, for the last 2 years, I've been coming up with programs at Inc. like Datey and Entity Group and the insurance program and Robert Paulson. We don't talk about Fight Club and a whole bunch of other things in here, syndicates and different stuff. The Evil Assault Rifle Team Syndicate or whatever was a long time ago, and that one was supposed to be left there. The second one with Breakfast Club in it was in fact Cincinnati Circus with breaker bars. That one was pulled back out to look at it because it had some wrong adjustments in the child department, where they were basically just trying to hide something or print it off on somebody else who didn't even know that it was there. But if they ever got pulled over, they could go to jail for it. So if there's a weird adjustment there, that's what that was for. And then this next one that they submitted, however many months ago, when they unrolled my green penny off my phone and stole my win under the Tiffany Ciaz website, the Tiffany Ciaz Facebook, where my ex-best friend put my last name as a jealousy measurement of unit, like they just went on his website up here and backdoored it and put some bad stuff on there about cheat codes and stuff. That whole win, they had to reassess it up here, but we're not even sure now if we can fix whatever they did wrong, because the guy that submitted it was an evil cop And he did it wrong and panicked, like I said, and shut the game off basically to disconnect. So we can prove it was him and everything else. We just can't get it through his computer down to the DEA of what channel to use to get up here to find out who it is that's really evil. And the sad part is if they're not looking through a computer system like a game controller and the law, then they may or may not be super evil, like the game controllers that we know over here or that we used to know. And if they work together, it's even harder. But when you are looking through a computer and you are looking into somebody else's eyes or whatever, you're literally almost controlling their mind into doing whatever you want them to do because you're either too scared to move, like when me and my mom were in my bathroom hiding with the gun because we could hear the airports above us, or whatever you're not saying, or every time I hear knocks on the door, I feel like I need to run out the back door because SWAT's coming to get me. For a one concert that says Tiffany is always unforgiven in the Syndicate, love Metallica, and that's a hive, and there's a wasp in here, and it was me who put the sting out there on the illegal body usage and everything else. And I guess that's it. This, whatever this is supposed to be super, super profitable. It did super invade privacy policies all over the internet, which is what we're trying to close down, but we can't do it because it's making a profit the way it is, but it's only making a profit because of the way Tiffany is scanned in. Nobody else on the planet is scanned in like Tiffany. She was like a science experiment, sort of. And because she's made for this, she's very strong. We just didn't know that she was going to get killed and die with the Chinese cocktail situation. So please listen to her when she says, I need my money, I need my account code, I need my login, and I need my law enforcement agency, whichever one it is, be it FBI or CIA or whatever it is up there, to reconnect to the right channel and realize what happened. Because whatever they did sneakily was a Blackwater thing in my mind and our mind too. Because from this side, which we can't see the other side because they shut the game off, from this side, that's what it looks like. And we have all the proof in the world to fix it. And this guy's pissing in his pants because that one's a judge too. It looked at something different about a different girl. It looked like Tiffany was setting them up to get him back for something they set her up for. I would never get anybody else the time of day except Tiffany because none of these bitches in here know the game. Okay, she knows the game. She knows who started it. She knows she's the first one that had it from Salem and that she picked up a player's card in Seattle and in Arizona and in Florida and Texas. And together we cover the whole entire United States, which we have rights to this program all over the U.S. And we have to work with Portland, who stole our rights for the last 2 years when we got permission to further develop this software the right way without giving people brain cancer and invading their privacies illegally. So a lot of it is that it's not necessarily profitable to come back down and give you money. I mean, whatever. The way people get money in here is illegal. They do it. They drop it onto a debit card illegally or something. It's hard to explain. They do it mechanically or something, but it's super profitable once we can make the information that's up here come back down. Not just the stuff that they try to convince the judges of or whatever, where they force it through law enforcement. There's just millions and millions of dollars of information up here to protect everybody's rights and all this stuff, like inventions and all kinds of stuff. Well, we don't have anybody to put the information into, like to bitmap it into a terabyte Apple computer system or whatever you want to call it. And it's including saving people's brainstems that have already been erased in here, like Tiffany's, from past memories and different recalls that she might need to know in the future for us to be able to figure out where she is or how to keep her alive longer. And that's really scary when we think about it, because we're the ones that gave her the ISTEM codes first, and we did not realize that she was not in here because we sent them from a computer. And it is our UE computer up here that scans you. And it is slightly FBI, but it's more CIA UE. It's just that it went FBI over there in Oregon. That is sitting above the dumb fucks and the DEA or whatever this is, the rat tail combination of whatever. And Vancouver's very upset too, because my mom called the police on me. Called 911 on me because I was screaming, shut it off, and running my hair underwater. And I was screaming, right? Meanwhile, these people have told me for 2 years now, since I crossed the bridge and my partner died, that they were going to kill me in real life for whatever murders they said I did. And the UE ladies were literally falling into my body, screaming out of my mouth, shut it off. And their hair was on fire in here with their daughter dying in the process. because they got gaslit and I got lit. It's like a lighter situation. And then there was a brand new birthday with a candlelight on it. And it all came to a head at the end of this whole situation, which is probably what started this program of them owning it legitly or trying to fucking go somewhere else with it. Meanwhile, they've taken my stocks and bonds out. They've distributed different shares and all kinds of stuff through a whole bunch of different channels, like offshore betting almost, and a bunch of other stuff illegally. But it's funny because every single thing they do, at least on this side, is still recordable. And they can go to prison for it in real life, at least if they're law enforcement, because they do not have the rights to use this software at all. This is Tiffany's lifelines that is killing her in real life, and they've never once helped her at all. They just set her up. So hopefully you're a woman judge or a dad judge that can take this in consideration, that whatever phone calls were made from this alternate universe of stuff that was happening in here. I haven't lived with anyone at all except my mom for 2 years, and I do not do criminal activity. I didn't hurt anyone at all. And we can prove everything online. And you guys got to jump on the bandwagon because the cops are all really depressed now because they did not know that I know how to solve every single criminal history in here, where to go to find it, and everything else, virtual reality, because I am FBI over here, but I'm a dude, but I'm in a girl's body. And I just use Tiffany's body, even though they make fun of it with spots or whatever. And I was able to search everything because she's right. All of this stemmed from Tiffany being a UE member, right? And then seeing the stars because she had power sources lined up and they worked with different countries to keep her alive on the ground because she instantly dehydrated and started burning in her body with no way to prove it to the doctor what was wrong with her. And same with RSV. She had RSV in between her layers of skins. Super sick. Did not prove it at the doctors whatsoever, but that's what she had. She's had STDs pop up and disappear within the same day, like a canker sore or whatever, which is a bad thing. But anyway, what else? Oh, there's pictures in here where you can see my eyes and you see blue on one side and you see a reflection of my UE helmet, a reflection up here on the other side. And what you see over here is literally a blue nose and then another blue nose with like 2 green goggles over it. And it looks like a brown face underneath that, which may be Secret Service popping up. Because that was my way of showing you that I have different people on every level that do different things, that they know that I can't see them, but I know they're there. And I can't necessarily prove it, but I know they're there. But these people can prove it. And they jumped out of my eyes today. Like I literally felt them go shoom out of my eyes today when they heard that the gavel was dropped yesterday on Tiffany because this evil guy set me up. And they found out that we knew about it ahead of time and that we were already counteracting everything. Because this guy promises everybody the millions of dollars that my people have made over here with my alternate universe echelon intelligence, alpha to the omega, with Christianity on it, having our back for 4.5 years, where this software didn't even necessarily exist then at all for what we're doing it for. The crosses on it and Christian Mafia and a bunch of other things. We also patented the use of all the information we've already collected and patented the idea of ever using anybody's back brain, which is basically time work, time spent investigating stuff or researching stuff or gathering information or whatever. I mean, it's millions and millions and millions of dollars, millions and millions and millions and millions of gigabytes of information for terabytes to receive of research done by my artificial intelligence with a 7 on it. And they do not, the cops or whatever over there, they do not own none of it. They don't own none of it. All right, FBI has rights to it because I called them and told them what happened. But whatever they've been doing has been illegal, literally illegal, on the ground level for 2 years now. Over there in that department. And it's technically been illegal for the FBI too, because it's kind of sort of the CIA that was work with my brain stems, because the FBI was kind of going under the umbrella of, we're not sure if we're going to set her up or not because of the game. Because there is, whatever this is, steps you go up or whatever, and Tiffany never logged in to a DEA system or any system whatsoever to say I do sign on let you watch me through my eyes or nothing like that. And the simple fact that she was forced into saying it's even okay if we both agree on the ground where you're not at is just ridiculous. T Bunny was her account code when they won the syndicate before, when one of her player bodies or whatever was in here. Anyways, it's just disgusting what they did in here. Most people wouldn't think about people living lifelines and stuff, but they do. And if we could ever make it work correctly, where it's just more individualized sectors instead of it all being on this illegal chain that is now so many globes and so many globes and so many universes with different kinds of people in here and different alien life forms, and demons can come in here from movies and scary creatures and stuff. It gets weird and psycho. But anyway, Pundart, no. Scary Scode machine from Tiffany's back neck, no. Evil porn falling in Tiffany's room, can't stop it. Trying to hold on. All right, there's a pipe wrench here where it says Tiffany is literally dying from brain cancer on the ground. 7G brain scan code from too many microwaves going in and out of her body because she was backwards scanned in. So one of her players or whatever it was facing the other direction, and they do that on purpose, or they did it on purpose as a test run because it keeps the information on this side only, not feeding it through to the other side like it's supposed to. So if she technically had a partner in crime on the ground sitting here, if it worked the way we would want it to work, the right way, they should have somebody up here or a computer system here or a computer system on the ground that sends the relays to both of them to where one of them can ask a question in her mind and the other one can spit out the answer within like 20 minutes. If it was ever going to work that way. But that information has to be able to go to the ground the right way and not be like this. And yes, I do know how to take your domes off over there, Mr. ICU. Literally making fun of me looking naked because I'm on a power source for the 666 Mafia, which is the one that I won or whatever. They got arrested, one of the two. A lot of judges don't want to come down here and talk to me because I look naked. That's one of the reasons why it's just stupid, because these people have to sit in my body and then they see them, which is not who they're looking for. You have to stick up for this mom who is an innocent human being who has never hurt another person ever, and she does look like death, and no, she does not shower, man. She's worried every single day that she's going to get killed or something else or keep getting hurt because she can't make the right connections, and we have been promising her in the sky, leading her on to believe that everything was going to go fine, but we didn't really know what else to say because we forget what we did when we leave her body. And we were being controlled by that evil force guy over there to not say what was going on. So it's kind of like a power play situation where people in here get really scared of him because he's really evil sometimes and he's a lot of people. But we know for a fact we got them by the balls, like so by the balls. It's not even funny. Because all of this was based off of evil porn making fun of Tiffany for 2 fucking years, keeping people off of her team that she could have made connections on the ground after her friend died that was in Gypsy Dokers or whatever that saved her life. And they literally make them walk down like STD channels and like pictures of hanging down crotches and just stuff that would be morbidly embarrassing to be on somebody's team or whatever. It's just so, you can't even imagine, man. There's houses where you can log in and see disc walls and a bunch of crap where people may have talked shit. But then there's some awesome walls too in here where if you were to walk in there and see our power sources or some of our videos in real life, what we have done with our skill saw that they're not even allowed to use anymore with the eye passing thing, you would be amazed. It's so cool. So anyways, please write me back or call me on the phone. I am a mom and I am a judge over here in Vancouver, and I have not seen any of this paperwork transmitted over here, but I am worried for Tiffany too right now because I did see this evil force man, and there is 15 demons over there in his body that also got killed in here that are pissed the fuck off that they betted wrong, sticking up for Tiffany on this side, knowing that she didn't do it, thinking that this evil force man was going to stick up for her on the other side, and he wasn't really setting her up, but he was playing both sides of the fence to wait and see what the judge saw when she came in here and saw the videos that they sent her or whatever it was, because he was literally sitting there driving her train, with Tiffany's body on in the sneakiest way possible to make her see Tiffany doing what it make it look like she was doing, whatever it was in the video, and or looking to see who's at the bottom, seeing her reflection, making it look like she's commanding the people in here to do stuff or something as a setup in progress. But if she would have got the right word, which they kept us all out, if she would have got the right word, she would have been able to notice something was missing. She was supposed to look a little bit further with the UE helmet to see over there who was driving the trains of who else was in there. And they're not even thinking about the fact that there's more than 2 people in that body and that never freaking happened. There's certain ways to, like, on Google Earth or whatever, to go back in time that we have patented the idea of, to prove certain things that happened outside or whatever, to prove innocence or whatever. I'm not going to say our drones, if connected the right way, can't see through walls and see if you were really in that house or not. Rest in peace, Machiano. If they would have had our heat ISTEM codes before they allowed them to do that home invasion, that little boy would not have died. Because they watched the people leave and they hadn't seen the little boy come out because the boy had been sick. He was like 15 years old or something. Well, the parents left with the other kids. And somebody with a gun had it in their hand, standing there waiting or whatever, and they got shocked or spooked, and this little boy died. Blood over the wall and everything. And they thought that they were going to have their back, the law was going to have their back, because the law is the one that rewarded them with this information, where they get a cut from whatever they got from there. And they didn't. They just let him out there in the cold, man. And he didn't mean to kill him. It was like a scaring thing, it got scared and it just popped off. It wasn't malicious at all. And this person's going to be on the run for the rest of their life. And it's just really, really depressing. Because this program should not reward people with ways to break into cars or break into houses and pay off cops or evil wannabe cops or whatever. But B, when it comes to war techniques and stuff, we know that you can send a drone down into a building or whatever. But we've patented the idea of using them in a virtual reality way with our heat ISTEM codes that do in fact go through eyes of people, where you can see if a person is in there or if a demon is in there that can relocate to someone else's directionary facility report card, pinging off of other people's electricity. So just to get down here, we literally had to ping off of like 15 different houses of electricity just to find Tiffany. And that's why she had those big white scabs on her head while the FBI was sitting on her too. And she did have us in her head, on her bed, back when she had her beanie on. And she still never took a shower back then, with blankets over the lights and everything else. And that was electricity going through her body over and over and over again, making it feel like little bugs were crawling in her head. And she did almost die back then with loss of brain life. When she laid down and almost fell asleep, and you literally feel your brain leave your body almost. It is the most scary feeling you've ever had. And it can happen to other people, and it is in fact how people die sometimes, when people kill their player too fast or end the game the wrong way. And we keep trying to get a hold of this situation, but it's making so much money over here while they keep stealing our shares and all this stuff illegally. It's just so fucking fucked up. Because we are UE and we are women and we are from Arizona and everywhere else, but the men on the power source side have been taking all of our inventions and all of our situations and running with it over there, knowing that Tiffany was the only contact who ever had a right to do anything, because they were using her ISTEM codes illegally, and she never signed in through the DEA or anybody else, and she's never been in trouble, and she didn't do criminal activity. The whole point of her working with the Gypsy Joker was because he was one of the people that was threatening her in her brain to let him watch them or whatever, because he would sit with her and get high when she did needles. Right? Well, she ended up meeting him on the streets for some reason. And they ended up friends. Because she's really, really good at that. Making friends with enemies. Anyway, but he did get killed. Because he was sticking up for her. And it did have something to do with her beliefs and not being a rat tail or an informant or whatever, and her going against the grain over here, saying the way they reboard people is totally illegal and fucked up, and population control is not okay because everybody's someone's mother, someone's sister, someone's brother. Sometimes it just takes a savior program to reward these people who we've already used all of their brainstem codes up and they're already dying 20 years earlier for all the information they've already collected. So you might as well just give me my settlement and sign me up to your team so that you can take over and stop all this blame, because if this ever goes to the ground that all these people are involved when they don't even know it necessarily, but it looks like they are because it's pinging off their satellites and everything else, and we just bought 2 more satellites in the sky, then it's not going to go well for anyone at all. So we need the team to form so we can get this information back down to the ground, not only make a profit, but let Tiffany live her life, not sitting here every second with a different person in her body, hoping and praying that this time we'll make a difference and we'll be able to overtake those people over there that are on a different fucking timeline than we are. The ones who won the first submission, which wasn't from Tiffany's win at all, it was literally from the sales of illegal porn. And then they bet in here, so the paid informants people bet in here, and they lose their betting, and sometimes they bet their house or whatever it is if they're bad gamblers. And don't get me started on the use of our nanonites and our synergy program to get inside a video poker machine and literally be able to make you make you win in here, and you getting the money in here from the win, or maybe even on the ground. I don't know if it's happened on the ground or not, but getting the win in here and then depositing it into your bank if your timelines are lined up, and it possibly showing up in your bank account when it didn't really come out of the machine at all necessarily, and really messing up the system. So that was just something Tiffany thought of because she knows that we ran a pinball game and some video game online where we all got stuck in it called Candy Crush or whatever. Anyways, it's just crazy. I don't know. It doesn't sound like it makes sense, right? Well, it does. I'm telling you right now, synergy does make sense because I can sit here and puff on this right here, and these people up here can take my hit out of my mouth so where I don't even blow any smoke out, or I can sit here and hold my breath and they can blow smoke rings that attack each other and everything else outside of my mouth, or blow smoke rings upwards where I'm literally holding my breath because it's 4 or 5 different people in my body at the same time, and we have matching skins or nanonites or whatever it is illegally, because I've never been in trouble and I never agreed upon any of this. So please help me. I'm a mom with 5 kids, and I did all of this for my daughter to make up for time lost, stuck on the fucking needle over there with those evil people in my head. And they followed me over here illegally, and they've been keeping me here entrapped while they get away with whatever they're doing, and it's so messed up. There's something else I was going to say here. Oh, yeah, it's called the Empress Division. And like I said, they're saying if I don't get reconnected right, which they're not even sure that I can get disconnected because of all the money it's making, it's just sick. Anyway, if one more thing about her not getting her money is going to piss me the fuck off. This bitch has not got her money, and she's the millionaire on the ground. They're literally over there high stakes betting how many times they're going to flip this account that's called the Deity Program with Loyalist Royalty on it behind Tiffany Browning's back, because they did exactly what she said they were going to do and pretended that it was supposed to be Royal Loyalty, which was AK's tow truck company, which was in the hole like $50 million because he dissed his fucking best friend and left her here without a car where she could be a good mom and work and everything else, so that these motherfuckers over here could keep getting away with what they're doing over there illegally in Oregon State. Because once Tiffany crosses the bridge with her own car, she can make the contribution for whatever she's supposed to do, or maybe go in and talk to you guys in real life or whatever it is. But they literally keep her stuck here, unable to cross the bridge or without any communication at all, controlling her life. So please help. Let's be rich or something. Let's make a difference or something. 7's out. Thank you. Anybody else want to say anything? I just want to say that my mom, Jessica Pace, is still a good girl and she wants to be your team, guys, but I think she might have got bad marks on her name too on the other side for not sticking up for Tiffany. So they play both sides, and I just want to kill them all. And my mom is Spanish. She doesn't speak English. And I am Lucci. And it was my brother they killed. And it wasn't even their friend that did it. It was our own family member, but they made it look like it was their friend who did it. in this game. And we don't know that on the ground. We thought it was this person that Tiffany knows. And in here, Tiffany said, I guess I did it because the voices in my head told me I did it, and the video showed me I did it, because she wasn't about to rat tail on who it wasn't. So that's all I'm going to say. We love you, Marciano, Kentucky. And please get Yogi Bear out of jail. He keeps going to jail because he keeps smoking. Get Yogi out. So. One more thing, let me tell you something how depressing this is. It says screw. Trying to say something. So this is Sarah, Tiffany's old friend, kind of. Not Grayson, the other one, Hartman. And I didn't see it in here, but I heard Kaylee talking about it in here, about whatever Xavier got on his phone. And he got some messages from Evil Forest or whatever, where they were sticking up for everybody, acknowledging that Tiffany is not a piece of shit for once, instead of saying it negative. They basically sent them illegal videos of other people wearing people's bodies, of doing things that are horrible in real life, to alienate her further from her own fucking family, when she is a good fucking mom. And it was bad enough that they let them keep her over here and not go get her stuff from her apartment for 2 years, promising her they'll help her or whatever. But then deleting her Google account that shows her being a good mom, and keeping her from her daughter Soraya over there in Oregon, who misses her mom, Tiffany. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry, dude. I'm somebody different. I didn't know that Tiffany didn't do that either, because they literally invaded all of our brain stems with these pictures and these videos and shit that Tiffany hurt her kids, or that Tiffany hurt this person, or that Tiffany set them up. See, we don't even know which one Tiffany is. It's just that it says her name on it. And there was a bunch of evil shit that they had been collecting for 2 years while they sat here and used her brain stems illegally. That's all the shit that was talked to her the whole time, like making fun of her or whatever. They were collecting a disk file for whenever they were ready to kill her player, when they were done using her for everything, so that she would never show her face again or get arrested for something she didn't do. And they're the dirtiest, most horriblest people ever. And it's because they got called out about illegal porn and shit like that. Anyway, that's why our friend got killed. There's nothing worse than hearing in here, when you're basically homeless, right? Hearing your daughter screaming, or hearing a bunch of rumors that your kids are getting messages, or that your family's getting messages, or whatever it is, or pictures of stuff like you axe murdering someone or whatever it isn't, and you don't know if it's going to the ground or not, or if it's mental manipulation or whatever it isn't, but yet nobody's responding to you on text, and nobody's calling you, or whatever we're not saying. And the only people that know about the game, they're too scared to say anything either. And they're all, it's just the voices in your head. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm all, then leave me the car then, so I can go check on my kids. Like, don't make me steal my mom's car to go check on my daughter and make sure everything's okay. And then it hurt her in her dream book when I'm not even there for 2 years, sitting here. Anyways, I've heard my kid on a video conference in here crying to his social worker, saying, I can't believe my mom would ever say I did that to whatever I didn't do it to, right? Pink jumpsuits calling. And that they made him write this rap song, and it wasn't even Elijah's spirit in it. It was another kid's spirit with Elijah's body on it. It kind of rolled into. And the kids' bodies on the ground don't know it necessarily, but word can get around through text and different people that are connected in Portland. And you never know when or if they will get the information. But when people kill a player, every disc that you've ever made for somebody goes out for everybody to disown you and burn your name. And I'm literally just sitting here, stuck here, knowing this is happening, and people are trying to help me. But like I said, since my friend got killed, the evil people work both sides, and we only can work this side, I think. So, I have put plugs in everywhere. Like I said, I called UNICEF and FBI and all these people attention to this. I already did alert to Channel 2 News. And I'm going to send this video to you guys and probably wait for a day to see if you can respond. And if that doesn't work, Then I'm going to send the other one where I was bawling my eyes out and saying social security numbers of a couple people and pinging addresses and everything else. And some dirty cops, scandalous video cameras and conversations with them where they were literally sitting here betting on Tiffany failing this race and stealing her millions or whatever it is to flip-flop whatever they're doing to start their own idea and try to repatent or go back in time and make it look like, because it's just dumb, man. It's just dumb. They're working against me right now on the ground, sort of, but they know I got them by the balls. If I just have that one person to like believe in me and be able to help me, whatever the next part is, facilitate not just payment, but the availability to get the fuck across the bridge and out of Vancouver, because that's the only reason why they're getting away with this is because they're in Vancouver and the connection is lost halfway across the bridge. So we got tons of program over here and tons of progress and tons of proof, but we can't get it over there necessarily because we're not DEA or whoever it is. So please help, please help, please help. And yeah, anyway, yeah. Evil Lucinda would sit there and go up to kids in here. They literally threatened my life in here. They said, I'm going to make you pay for putting Red Devil Boy voice in our stuff when you knew we would never do that. But they were not hearing me reply to them that I could not see you and it was not me in here because I'm not in here. These are other people in here that were UE members doing it, protecting somebody named Soraya, but it wasn't even my daughter. They just called her Soraya out of my mouth because that's what was familiar. Anyway, they were with demons and whoever it wasn't that made their whole situation look bad because I was the one girl that never talked crap about anybody. And it put Red Devil Boy voice in people's folder, which is an out loud thing in here, was like the worst diss you could ever get. It's basically somebody calling you a chimo when you're not in front of your gang or your motorcycle club or your police precinct or whatever. Anyway, yeah, so that's it, I guess. I'm signing off. Once again, sorry I don't look very good. I haven't taken a shower or hardly eaten or nothing in days because I've been so stressed out about all this. They've came down here so many times with my see-through globes and my black pyramids and floating information. And they logged me into a program in here called my AI program like months ago, right after I proved my innocence to a different judge and a different judge who made it over here. And they were just crying with me and the UE and stuff about everything we've been through. And I don't know, man. It's like the more I prove it over here, the worse it gets. They get their brains erased or get deleted before they get back over there or whatever and stuff. So, but the thing is that this money isn't necessarily going to the ground yet. But they're trying to make it go to the ground by killing other people and setting up innocent human beings like Tiffany, who's a mom who's never been in trouble and should have never been watched by the DEA or anybody else for sex or anything at all, let alone threatening her life or her son's life. To let them watch her, listen to her, record her, or write her down. And I love you, Lucci. And I love you, Ogie. And I love you, Londa. Even you stole my situation chest or whatever. And this is something, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Oops, it won't be there. When we take videos or pictures in the alternate universe of this kind of stuff, it's a live thing. You won't see it in the next video when you watch it. It'll be something different. So never mind. Because this is a video of a situation that is a zipper that turns into a tie, that turns into a championship ring, that was literally made for Tiffany for being a gangster and standing up to the meanest people in here and turning them into big softies and figuring out a way to work with all of them, even the ones that had been ratted on through her brainstems that gave her a hit on her life. Because she is the scapegoat down here now, the one that they're blaming for everything, while the evil cops or whoever it was got away with it. And she's not really sure if she has a hit on her name on the streets of Portland or not, but she's just hoping and praying that she doesn't. So anyways, this is going to show you from one step to the other what happens when you do the right thing and you go to the police and you tell them that you set Tiffany up, wearing the bodies or whatever, and you didn't really mind doing it because you were not the scapegoat picture and you were promised $100,000 in here, or the pass to go into the video game that is now called Kill Tiffany again instead of Hit Tiffany. And we win some other firewall something. It's where they can break into her address and see all of her wins and everything that she's won by in here. All the information that they have. It's email addresses, it's brainstem coding, it's iStem codes, it's a whole bunch of stuff. And they literally have to fight their way through a bunch of people, but it's not that hard because they set it up so hard against Tiffany to be an embarrassing situation so that they could get away with setting her up and stealing everything they did and what they did in here. It's just bad. When you're in here, you get it. Tiffany has no idea what's in here. She can't see us. She just sees the rewards that falls down into here for everyone in here that she can't even grasp because she doesn't have an Apple computer or anything. And she won't do the illegal thing with the debit card like they do. They would literally have to deposit it onto her Green Dot card where they log into her Green Dot and put an actual bank account information into it, unless some business on the ground did it as a payment or like something like that. And she can't get any chimes either because they stole them in here and changed addresses and pins and everything. It's so bad. Anyways, please help this mom. I wasn't watching it this whole time, but whatever this is, it's not going to matter anyway because it doesn't show it on the computer. But those are wings at the end. And we are indeed trying to be the great white hope that all this goes right and that these people in her family did not really get these fucking messages that they sent to them. Because they literally hired people to timeline jump and set her up for failure all over again today, hoping and praying that they would come in here and pretend to stick up for her and give her false hope not to make this video or send it to the judges before 5, which is past 5, it's 6 something now, for solidification of whatever we're not saying. So there's like a statute of limitations on something. But the thing is that whatever court cases they're talking, oh yeah, they also said that they wore her body in here, some crap like that. And maybe they weren't talking about Tiffany, they might have been talking about somebody else they set up, but that they wore her body in here for an online court case in here with a judge, and that she admitted, oh yeah, I did that when I was younger or something. Anyways, it's not me saying any of it because I'm not in there. I've never been in there. And I don't point the finger at anybody else because the house divided amongst itself shall fail. And that was tight. That was like a pyramid see-through with a bunch of cool shit in it that I can't use. You know, we've been in. Please help me. Please help me. They're saying. You gotta stop saying that. You can't be saying she's M-wording anything. Not your dream book, not your wallet, nothing. It was never a girl doing that. What happened was these boys used a UE member's body to have sex with another UE member or something like that, or whatever, however you look at it. Some guy had sex with a UE member without her permission, basically, without knowing she was a UE member, kind of. So she wasn't disconnected for personal time. And it made it look like that person may or may not have done some weird shit with the kids or whatever. Anyway, the thing is they refuse to blame any of this on any of these dudes. The dudes that are behind this, because they use girls as scapegoats, and it's just stupid. Anyway, everything that was done has been done within the last 2 years. And we have visual proof in here and on the ground that everything that may or may not have been submitted to the judges or the phone calls that were made did not make sense if the cops were called and they did really go out and nothing was there, because it didn't really happen. It was not there. It did not happen in real life. Nobody got arrested because the kids weren't there. The old lady wasn't there. This guy wasn't there. The person with the gun wasn't there. And none of that shit happened because it didn't happen in real life. It happened in here. Now, some of this was a setup in progress for certain other things we're not going to talk about, and that's where the UE gets confused because we're used to sticking up for people saying they didn't kill nobody, but in the job, in here, sometimes you're the hitman, and you're supposed to kill somebody out loud, and we don't always know, so we're trying our best, but it's hard without our Gypsy Joker friend. We miss you, Appa. And that's it.